Testing. Okay. So.
My ult is ready.
Firstly, you need to find a spot to... You need to find a spot to, hope it's not lagging. Okay, it should be fine. It should be okay. You need to find a spot where you're gonna throw the eye. Sovas will typically kind of scan kind of roughly this area. But you can, like, throw it, like, really high somewhere, like, maybe here. Oops. No, I meant to throw it like up there. It's not the greatest. Maybe over there or something. It's just the entire threat of, you know, someone hiding here from the eye. Or here. So you really want to clear out this area as well as possible. Planning, like, on top of this is probably best. You could probably also chuck it over here, possibly. This also scans really nice and high. Yeah, not my PC. Okay, should be okay. Should be okay. So the next thing is, yeah, so you can, like, throw it, you know, somewhere there, maybe, you know, whatever. I don't know if that's gonna scan properly, but yeah, it's like whatever works. Just so that you're scanning, you know, these spots here, which can be annoying to deal with, especially if someone just, like, crouches here, and, like, sits here like a rat, and then they just wait and wait and wait, and then, like, they peek very late and they end up, you know, killing you or someone. You know, they could totally just be here chilling, whilst you're kind of distracted by the enemy jet. So it's really risky. There's literally a threat, like, everywhere, like here even, you know, because you kind of threw it, like, here, which can easily just be dodged by someone, and then they can just timing the eye over here very easily. You did hear one guy stomping in this surface here, so as you were scaling, you heard him. The jet is just not priority. You can't get to the jet in time for it to be, like, a good timing, you know? So the best thing you can do, really, if you do want to, if you're, like, kind of worried that, oh, the jet is gonna, like, kill your team or whatever, just do that. Just do that. That's it, you know? You don't need to physically move to make impact, you know? If you use the minimap in this moment in time, you know, you tuck here to be hidden from heaven, and then your teammates are, like, pushing up with you and stuff like that. Oh, the enemy jet kills your teammate. Yeah, just chuck this, and then they're gonna be seized, they're gonna be tethered, they can't peek you from backside, and they're gonna be, you know, low HP because they're tethered off of the, you know, of the fact that you were able to, you know, tether them with info from the minimap. And then you can let your teammates take care of that, but you need to take care of the fact that you heard a footstep right here, and of the fact that your eye did not clear shit. So as you're scaling, you need to clear this stuff, and then you need to make sure all this is clear, because your teammates are gonna die. You know, if someone is able to peek here, they're most likely getting at least one kill, and yeah, you might be able to get a trade, you know. In, like, you know, the worst case scenario is they kill one of your teammates and then you trade. But the next thing is, okay, let's say that you don't want to clear this area, or let's say you cleared it with a better eye. Well, next up is, okay, you can maybe take care of the enemy jet on site, but you need to do it whilst pre-aiming something, right? Because one of these is going to be a threat. This one usually is a bigger threat, just because the enemy can, like, you know, walk out of the smoke here, kind of have only one angle to worry about, kind of one, you know, basically one. So, you know, you can still, like, hop on top of site, you know, and then maybe you know, whilst pre-aiming this, you can maybe then try and trade this thing here. Not as good, but you know, it's one way to do it a bit better. What I would have done is, first of all, yeah, like, see, you know, that's fine, you know, seize that shit, and then, you know, clear all this shit, you know, or if you don't need to, then don't clear it, right? If you threw a better eye, don't clear it, just, you know, move on and take some space, you know, because, you know, the enemy's gonna flood retake. They have pretty okay abilities for retake, and also you're Fade, you have a dog, so even if you didn't have your C's, even if you used your C's on that, you have a dog here. The dog is basically wall hacks. It's not just the eye that is wall hacks. The eye, yeah, sure, it gives you wall hacks, great, but the C's kind of also gives you wall hacks. So like, if there's a smoke here, you can literally seize outside of the smoke, and you're gonna see exactly where the enemy is in the smoke, if there is an enemy in the smoke and if they got seized, right? So that's another thing. But the same is with the dog. So you also have wall hacks with the dog, because the dog is gonna, you can see the dog through the wall, and if it, you know, if it hits someone, if it targets an enemy, you can literally see where the enemy is gonna be based on the trajectory of the dog, you know, where the dog is going exactly, right? So if the enemy Sova is in the smoke or behind the smoke, just easy kill, because even if there's a smoke in the way, the dog is showing you where to shoot. So that's another thing. And lastly, after you get this kill, and if your teammates are still struggling for whatever reason with the guy on site, yeah, sure, you know, you can go back and take care of that guy, because they need to be taken care of at one point. But alternatively, you know, like in that case, they probably would have died either way, whether you did get there on time or not. So instead, you know, you can just, you know, maybe try to take some more space, you know, maybe get some info on like how fast the enemies rotated, you know. You know, it's usually kind of difficult pushing this for a kill, but it doesn't hurt to like take this angle here, you know, get ready to like take a shot and fall back. I'm not sure if this angle was here before, to be honest. Did they change Abyss, or am I schizophrenic? I don't know. I remember that you had to like go like that to peek the angle, or maybe I'm just imagining things. But yeah, and yeah, so like you can then go back, you know, but yeah, it's not really priority. It's just one guy versus all of your teammates, you know. It's one of the lower priority fights, you know. If your teammates cannot take care of one guy, you know, they're just bad, you know. Everyone's gonna do their part, you know, and your part is kind of to, you know, get info on the site, you know, maybe control some space, you know, stop the enemy from flooding out and fucking up your teammates. You know, and also you have two dogs. So, you know, like if you're really worried, you know, okay, seize if you're really worried, and then, you know, if you're like really, really worried, you know, dog, and then, you know, it's like whilst your teammates are fighting, you can continue, you know, kind of taking control of this area and maybe getting like a kill here if an enemy tries to push out or something. I'll try be here instead, just because, you know, if someone pushes out of here, they're not going to be looking this way, they're going to be looking this way, right? When someone pushes out of the smoke, they will not be looking at you, and they might not even be able to see you, right, if you're in this position here. So this is a nice like position to be in, near the smoke here, whenever your controller does smoke this really well, you know, instead of like throwing some troll smoke here or here, which I've seen a lot of times in Plat. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know if there's anything else to talk about. Generally, you know, you might want to instead seize backsides, you know, because this does give you some good info here. Like as you're scaling, you can see whether there's an enemy backside getting ready to like peek you or something, if you have no info, right? Like obviously we know in the clip that there's someone, you know, in this area here in this cubby position, but you know, usually, or not usually, but oftentimes you're not gonna know whether there's someone there or not. So you know, that's why lineups are so nice, because you don't have to be peeking this, you know. You can like you can shoot this shit from here even, and it's, you know, it's gonna give you the info. It's huge range, it's a huge range, So yeah, you know, and then, you know, after you see that, oh, you've not tethered anyone here, you know, then you can continue on with your way to, you know, try and get some kills here or whatever. And yeah, in some cases, for example, let's say that for whatever reason, I don't know. Let's say we have no dogs, we have, I don't know, we have no dogs, but we have like time to like plant and the enemy's not yet retaking. Yeah, we can get it on top side, you know, try to go for like a different play here. Generally speaking, it's kind of difficult to make a play from on top unless you actually walk into the smoke here. Maybe, you know, if maybe heaven is not a threat for whatever reason, you know, you can maybe station yourself up on one of these off angles here. You know, this is like a nice off angle here. You know, if you are holding the smoke or whatever, but you know, this is also fine. And then yeah, maybe you can like push into the smoke and like, you know, just chill in it for a second. You know, maybe you want to dog it, you know, and then if someone's close, you can then shoot them through the smoke too. But you know, and then as for the ultimate, yeah, again, you peaked in a really bad way, like probably the worst way possible. You want to ingrain it into your kind of mind that whenever you have like, you know, this shitty kind of cover, which you can't really get an angles advantage on, you need to finesse instead. Like there's no other way to do it. Like when you're like behind any kind of piece of cover where like you just can't really get an angles advantage on. Like, this is always going to be an angles disadvantage no matter what you try. So instead, it's like it just makes more sense to try and, you know, kind of finesse your way around the cover, making use of, you know, kind of trying to maximize your peaking velocity as opposed to, you know, trying to get some kind of advantage with the angles. This dog was fine. You dogged this. That was fine. But it's kind of tricky just because like now you're stuck here. So like when you were here, and when you dogged B-Link, you should have used that to try and reposition. So the common thing you're going to see in Radiant is players will literally kind of, you know, if they're spotted in this area, you know, guess what they're going to do? They're going to reposition by shifting all the way across to this wall. Why? Because that's the least expected position to be in afterwards. Most players, after they see you like here, you know, and after they hear your dog coming from that direction, they will not expect you to be here. So as they're peeking, you know, they're going to try and, you know, get like some kind of line of sight on you. But instead you're going to be under them, right? So like it's a very easy timing to take where like, okay, they hear the dog. Okay, they're pushing, and you're already under them. Like they're not going to see you here. Like they will not see you here, right? Like you just need to be like in this area here, which is like very fast to get into. So already you're you know, in a position for at least one free kill, and then, you know, like you can continue just, you know, holding this instead, because, you know, after the dog got the info, right, you know, no one's there, at least for now, right? So as you're taking up the unexpected angle, you get this kill. Okay, now is the timing for another enemy to be coming here, you know, after they dodged your dog or after they were too far to be hit by your dog, right? So they were likely like over here, you know, it's like the timings work out. And if they don't peek heaven, you know, you can still just stare into this direction. That's it, you know, like just stare in this direction and it's fine. They're most likely not going to clear you from heaven because they have a million other angles to worry about. They have this, they have this angle, they have that angle, they have this angle to worry about, they have this angle to worry about, they have this angle to worry about, sometimes even this angle to worry about, right? So a million different angles to worry about. If they clear you here, you know, they are just psychopathic. And so yeah, so this is why you can just cross replace this here safely in most cases. And you kill this guy, and then you can flick and kill whoever is speaking heaven or whoever is out in heaven, right? So that's like a few ways you could have played that round better for a potential win. You know, like the point is to try stuff, you know. You're not really trying stuff. It's like, you know, you just sat here, that's it. Like, this is when like alarm bells should be ringing in your head that like, okay, I probably should do something, you know. It's like, okay, we're up numbers, we're on a post plant, but you know, it's still solo queue. Things can easily turn to shit. You know, maybe I should do something. Maybe I shouldn't just let the enemy peek into me. You know, this kill here was fine, but again, another opportunity to reposition and do something else, you know, just to improve your chances of winning the round. You know, even if you are already at a advantage in a given situation, you know, like, why not go for an even greater advantage, right? Like, you can't just like relax necessarily just because you're up numbers, you know. Like, you still need to pursue the next, you know, best chance at, you know, winning the round. And in this case, you know, it could just be to reposition here, you know, maybe not even fully, you know. I don't know if this is a good angle. Maybe this could be a good angle. Probably not. Maybe like here, you know, or something, where you're kind of covered from B-Link, you know. This could be fine, possibly. So yeah, it's just, you know, worth trying some stuff. Yeah, that's about it, I think. I don't think there's anything else to talk about in this round, you know. If you do want to clear this area, you know, just do it yourself, you know, but like route into this direction instead of around, you know, like, because this is much better just because you're now covered from heaven and B-Link. So now you can actually fight here pretty safely. And this is an optimal position to play from on post plants as well. So once you get this kill, you can just kind of chill here, and this is where you can chill, you know, because now you are in a position that is very, very, very strong, and very difficult to deal with when you play from here correctly. And you had utility, so, you know, like, your ultimate from here is fucking broken. It covers like everything, so that's another thing. Yeah, no, like, that's about it, you know. And then your eye, after it refreshes, you know, like, you can throw it anywhere, you know, like, you can just throw it like over there, something. That's not it. Yeah, like over there, you know, and it's like, it scans everyone. You can have wall hacks on like everything, right? So yeah, just, you know, very, very many ways to play these kinds of situations. But, you know, like, you can't just run around like a headless chicken, just trying to go for the next thing. Just, you know, relax, see like what needs to be done, you know. That footstep that you heard, or you should have heard, in B-Link, it is very bad, you know. If you didn't hear the footstep, you know, it's like, maybe they're just gonna be rotating, you know, but like, I'd have to like see the context of the other rounds to like know where the enemy's position and like what's going on and stuff like that. But yeah, you know, usually you should expect someone to be in this area, you know, even just like B-Link. Yeah, no, now I'm really done. Now I am really done.